Renee Bays, Rakim, John, 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 Renee Bays.
Hello, everybody. Oh wait, I'll do it in not Wakandan. Fuck.
In Wakandan. Do you know Wakandan?
No, but I have been practicing when he goes, "Put down your weapon." And
is that Wakandan? Or is that English?
But I'm just saying that's the accent, though. You know, he's like, yeah, 1, 2, like you couldn't even protect your own father, and I've been practicing. You know? Wow. Anyway, welcome to Podcast of Color, where 4 trash bags of color come together to make sense of the world. I am Rakim, and I am from the Jabari tribe.
Ooh.
I am Baze, and I look fabulous. I feel fabulous, and I'm from the Mountain Tribe.
Heathen.
I am Renee. I am the Giardia daddy. And
are you still? Oh Lord Jesus! Is she still talking
here to
about
make
that?
it clear?
I mean, it'll help you make it clear once it's all cleared out.
Okay, no. Oh my God.
If y'all forgot, that's that disease that you get from eating people's asses.
Yeah.
Unclean asses.
I'm John, and Umbaku is my daddy.
Wow, fetishizing black dick 2 minutes into the episode.
I mean, no.
Did you support this black movie, John?
I went to see it. Yes.
Okay.
For free?
No, I paid.
Okay.
For free.
Did you sneak in, sis?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Wow, that sounds anti-Asian. I don't.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying you didn't support Lemonade, so I just want to make sure you're supporting black art.
John walked into the theater with a shirt that said "Pick Cotton," like
no
trash.
No, it said "I love BBC."
So, anyways, don't we have a guest today?
We do. We have a 5th trash bag this week. Our guest is a friend of mine and a very, very talented artist and producer and stylist and has the best hair I've ever seen in my life. And no, I have not touched it. So our 5th trash bag this week is my friend Curly, who is a video producer at I'm going to say it with the accent Pedro-like. Right?
Yes.
That's it, right? There we go. And which is my favorite BuzzFeed YouTube channel. And this is like a little inside joke with some of my friends that listen, but I send them, like I was telling you guys, I send them like the Housewives video, and I like 20 people that listen to this, I send it to them daily. So so welcome to the show, and
thank you so much. I'm so happy to be with you guys. Honestly, like it's so cool to see you guys, like just beautiful men, or I don't know what anybody identifies as. I'm so sorry, but just beautiful spirits here doing beautiful things. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you can totally correct me with your pronouns that you prefer, and I'll be mindful of them.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. John, you should take note, you know?
My name is Baze. I identify as pup self.
No. Except that I don't know. Anyway, Curly, do you want to maybe tell them a little bit about yourself before we move on to the question of color?
Oh, yeah, of course. So my name is Curly Velasquez. I'm a video content producer at Buzzfeed's Like, which is the Latin channel of Buzzfeed. We do like multicultural, multilingual content. I actually started in the kitchen when I started at Buzzfeed. I used to serve all those people lunches. I used to clean up the tables, stock all the snacks, stock the kitchen. And I'm kind of like the only person to have moved from the kitchen to being a video producer there. And so I've, with the help of so many people, I've like moved up and I've built out this team called Like, and it's just been so much fun. Like we learned so much about, building out ethnic content, if you will, because it's such a new frontier for all of us. Like no matter what sort of platform we're on, like we're not really used to seeing ourselves in so many different forms of media. So it's exciting to kind of be at the forefront, and we're just doing it, siguiendo pa'lante is what I always say.
Wait, what does that mean? Wait.
Keep going forward.
John.
That is amazing. Congratulations on your come up, Curly.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Can I ask?
Of course.
Really quick. Oh, sorry. How did you go from like one department to another? Like, how'd you go from like the kitchen to?
So I actually
editing?
have I actually have a video about it on my channel that I just launched. It's whatever. I'll just do a little plug. It's called The Curly V Show. V as in Victor. The Curly V Show on YouTube. And basically what happened was when they put me in charge of the lunch, they gave me like a microphone and they were like, we need you to announce like a letter. So like R. So everybody whose name started with an R could come and eat once the food was ready. And I was like, and nobody ever paid attention to me. People were kind of like, you know, would push me out of the way to get to the food. They didn't care about the microphone. So I was like, fuck this. Like, am I allowed to cuss? I'm allowed to cuss.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
yeah.
was like,
Fuck shit, ass, damn shit. Go.
I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm Latino. Like, I have a loud voice. And I'm going to do it my way. So I like told him I didn't need the mic anymore. And I got on my skateboard and I would skate around the entire studio and I would howl really loud and I would make it like a circus show. Like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's lunch. Today we're having spaghetti and da-da-da-da-da. And I would like make it this thing. And so word got out that people were like excited about this lunch show. And then, so that was on one front, right? And then on the other front, they would put me in videos. And I was, at the time, the only, you know, gay person that was out and not necessarily depending on my gayness, if you will, to make jokes. Like, I was, like, just saying things that were just, like, they were just funny and people were relating. They were like, why is that guy talking about his pussy nipple ring? And it would be, all the comments would be about my pussy nipple ring. And then people were like, his hair, I hate him, I love him, blah, blah, blah. And so from the kitchen to the online world, like, it was just people being like, he's just a mess, like, just do something with him, like, he needs to not be serving us spaghetti. And also, like, you know, before that I had worked with Jeremy Scott and David LaChapelle, so it wasn't like I was coming out of nowhere. I'd had like years of body of experience and work in the creative industry. So
Right.
I love that. Put some respect on my name, bitch.
Thanks,
Talk your
guys.
shit.
Thank you. But it's also like a thing of like, you know, my dad always says like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, ethnic people, we always have to work harder. Like, and we have to do the damn thing. And so it didn't matter. I could still be in the kitchen. I'd be having fun and doing my thing in the kitchen.
John loves to have fun in the kitchen.
I do. I love having fun in the kitchen.
What does that mean? Like, sexual fun, or do you get down cooking? I'm very naive to think sometimes. So I'm like,
John, can you cook?
I get down.
Didn't you wake up in the kitchen thinking, how the hell did this shit
happen?
I was like,
Quick interlude. We should probably get back to the question
Oh
of color.
yeah, okay. Sorry.
Time-wise.
So sorry. So this section is the intro. So we do have our question of color. So Renee, do you want to ask what the question is?
The question this week is: would you date someone of your own sign?
Sure.
yes.
Who wants to go first?
I feel like Baze is the most excited. Go ahead, Baze.
No, I just said sure because that's as much as I have to say about it.
Curly, you're the guest, so you go ahead.
Okay. I'm a Virgo, same sign as Beyonce, and I have the same birthday as Michael Jackson. So I'm like, yes, the greats. So I'm like, I would totally date other Virgos. Virgos I meet, and is anybody else a Virgo on the thing or on?
I'm a Virgo
I have a
rising.
Virgo rising.
Oh, beautiful. Well, welcome, guys. But like, it's so much fun. Like, Virgos, I get it. Like, I just get the Virgo brain. Like, I understand. Like, a lot of times you meet Virgos and you're like, they're kind of stuck up, and then you realize that they're a Virgo, and you're like, you're not stuck up. You're just stuck in your head. You haven't stopped thinking about something that happened 20 minutes ago. Like, I totally,
wow.
You know. So yeah,
They're not conceited. They have a reason.
Yeah, we're not, honestly, like, I'm just really focused, like, in my head always, and I don't mean to come off as, like, oh, like, fufurufo is what I would say, you know?
Wait, what is that?
It's like fufu, but it's like Salvadorian slang, so that's another thing, too, like, Salvadorian Spanish is, like, whatever, we'll answer the question, then I'll get into that.
Okay, Renee, would you?
I would not. I've actually dated... Wait, you knew I was going to say that?
Yes.
What are you, Renee? What are you?
I'm a Cancer.
Why? I love Cancers.
I love Cancers too. Like, some of my favorite people are Cancers, but dating them is a completely different story.
Yeah, that's hard.
We're like really intense people, and we're also very like clingy and tenacious. And I didn't understand how clingy I was and like how annoying it was until I started dating another Cancer, and then I was like, okay, like, I really need to take this back like a couple notches because I understand now what it's like.
It's not bad though. I think that what happens with cancers is that you guys expect that same intensity to be reciprocated.
Don't drag me like that.
And that's when it becomes a problem because it's like I can't love you like that because I'm not a Cancer.
Right. Fuck. Yeah,
Ray's
no, that's
triggered.
real. No, that's real. That's very real. But
John?
anyways.
Yes. I'm an Aquarian and I would date another Aquarian. I don't think I have. Wait, have I? No, I haven't. But I think I'd like to think I'm fun and other Aquarians I've met are fun and they're just like kind of like go with it kind of thing.
Tanasha's an Aquarius.
I wouldn't date her, but
I
Yeah.
mean,
other Aquarians
you don't
I've
have to.
met-
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All
sure.
she's just looking for company.
Bye.
What about you, Rakeem?
Thank you for asking. I would actually. I would love to date another Aries, honestly, because it's like, who the fuck else? Like the only other, the only other sign I would like. The only signs I don't really fuck with are like Scorpios, as y'all know, and Gemini.
Stop it. Just because of that one person. Okay, wait, no. Actually, you know what? I can't even talk because I'm the same way about Libras. Okay.
I was about
Go-
to say,
continue.
'cause- and you know that I was fucked up by that.
I know.
But
No,
like,
I know. I
Yeah,
remember.
no. If like Curly and I were talking earlier, and he was like, I'm a Scorpio rising, and I was like, I'm gonna go home.
My mom's outside.
My mom's outside.
Bye. But yeah, I don't know, but. I would definitely date another Aries because I think that we're so like passionate and intense, and what I really like is what people to tell. Like if I like someone, I always tell them, or if I like find someone attractive, I always tell them. And so I think Aries are kind of like that. And the people that I've dated always like flirt with me by saying, "Oh, you're a fucking bitch," and it's like, okay, like that's not cute. Like I want you to make me feel good, you know. So yeah.
I want you to make me feel good.
Yeah, make me feel good, daddy. You know, stuff like, you know, that kind of thing. Baze, did you go?
Yeah, I said yeah.
Bae said sure. He said sure.
Yeah,
Ray was
sure.
like, okay.
I don't know. I like joke about like being a Gemini, but I don't really know anything else about signs and stuff like that, so I don't really put a lot
Azealia
of stock
Banks
in it.
and Kanye West are
Okay,
Geminis.
so on that note, we're going to no, Renee, I'm not doing. On that note,
Brr, 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 brr.
we're gonna end this section, and we'll see you guys in the what is the section called? The Minutes of Color.
Yes.
Bye.
Trash, 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 trash.
So,
Baze.
what we got on the docket for today? Just shout out to the kids that attended the Parkland school. From is it the Parkland district? You know, the school that or Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. There we go. Just for the way that they're turning this around, and right now they should be grieving, and they're turning it around and being activists. And I think that like that's crazy because I wouldn't have the strength to witness something like that and then turn around and be speaking in front of cameras and holding my shit together. So
Yeah.
Right.
just shout out to the babies.
Yes.
Did you see the speech that she did? Or I think her name is Emma Gonzalez, where
Yeah.
she's the with like the bald head.
Yeah.
And she was that speech gave me goosebumps.
I was just like,
the
I
whole,
could not at the age of 26, I could not get up in front of like a crowd of people and news cameras, you know, without the trauma of having experienced what she experienced and gave such an eloquent speech. So I was floored by that.
They're really
it's like we struggle
taking-
on here all the fucking time.
Right.
So the fact that she was able to get up and like do that in front of people live was just like
Yeah.
amazing to me.
Yeah.
And especially like you're grieving and you're hurting, and just the thing that really resonated with me when she was saying, you know, like you weren't here and like you don't know who this kid was. And I think it kind of put this in perspective because I think a lot of the times like you really forget that like these are people
Yeah.
and they they were with this person every day, and it's like they did do what they were supposed to do, and it's just like the fact that they get blamed for stuff. Or like I saw someone say like, oh, you shouldn't be on Snapchat, you should be calling 911, and it's just like I don't get how people can say stuff when stuff like this happens. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this was something where I remember when I heard about it, I was just like, oh, okay, of course, like another school shooting, because I think at this point I've become so desensitized to it. That I really didn't like. I was like, I just don't like. I don't want to delve into the details of what's going on, and I just happened to be on Twitter, and there was just like the way that these kids were just like being on top of recording this and documenting it, and the way that they talked about it afterwards as an intentional thing to make sure that people were aware of the experiences that they were going through. Mm-hmm. That was something that like it brought me back, I guess. Like I felt it. I don't think I really felt it until I then, saw it. And it sucks that it has to come to that point. Like I think there, or maybe there wasn't, but at least for me specifically, I felt like there was a time when I would hear about this and it would just be heartbreaking. But now I hear about it and I'm just like, okay. And then, but that seeing it, them forcing us to look at it and not being able to look away made me, I was crying the other day because I was just like, this is something that's still an issue. Like a bunch of little kids got killed in 2012, and we're still doing this in 2018. Mm-hmm. And, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Whoever was about to talk.
Oh, I just said, I was, you.
Oh, I was gonna say that it just it feels like it's all very intentional, and they're taking back the narrative, and they're changing the narrative a little bit just because it's like. The narrative is usually just like people in the media, Fox News, whoever, trying to sell this idea of like whatever. And then that they're actually like, you know what? Actually, we're sick of people saying this and you weren't there. And this is what it was like to be there. And actually, this is how it is. And so it's like really inspiring to see.
Watching them like specifically call out Tomi Lahren and Trump and Ted Cruz, not Ted Cruz, what's Marco Rubio. And it's just because what can they even say? Like, these are the actual people that experience this. Like, what are you going to say to these victims? You can't come out and attack them. Well, some people have done it. Yeah, exactly. So,
And a lot of people have said, too, like, after Sandy, and I've said it, too, like, after Sandy Hook, nothing will really change. But I think the difference that makes this one a little bit different, and I even hate the fact that I'm saying like this one like a little bit different, because it like normalizes the fact that this happens all the time. Right. But it's like, I think with Sandy Hook, like the victims were like babies, right, and they couldn't really speak out for themselves, where I think that the kids now like aren't, they're old enough, they're about to vote, like some of them will be old enough to vote in 2020, some of them will be old enough to vote in the midterms, and they're not letting I guess like the tragedy really kind of affect them, and they are doing like that march where high school kids are going to be walking out of class and stuff like that. So it's new to kind of see people or to see victims like using their platform in this way. Like I don't remember a time when a shooting happened and something like this happened. Yeah. So I'm really hopeful.
Well, and now
go ahead. No, it like made me kind of hopeful for the future too. Like that. Kids younger than us aren't going to like sit down and take it. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel I've not felt this hopeful after a school shooting ever, and so to now see like that these kids are taking this into their own hands. I mean, there's a walkout planned for April 20th, and
oh, that's right.
Apparently they're not going back to school until something is done in Congress, and I mean they're just I don't know, it's overwhelming, and I'm just like I can't even imagine having the strength to do any of this without having been traumatized the way that these kids have been traumatized. So it's like it's definitely very hopeful. Any last words on that?
No, I think that was it.
So I went on a very lengthy rant about this last week.
Oh, Father God.
Yes, darlings. Here we go. No, I'm going to really try to keep it real cute and concise this week, because I really am not actually as mad as I was last week. one Luke Austin, an Instagram photographer, has come out with a book called Lewa, and it means beautiful in Yoruba, which is a tribe in West Africa. And I am actually Yoruba, and Nigerian. So it was very interesting for me to see that word, I guess, used, because I'll try to hit some bullet points on why this book bothers me.
Well, maybe you might want to explain what the project is.
That's fair. You are absolutely right.
Or you.
So the book is a bunch of pictures of black men, and actually on the Amazon page for it says Liwa is about the beauty of black skin, from skinny, wiry bodies to beefed up muscles, because that's the only range there.
That's the
Luke Austin's
spectrum.
Yes, that's the spectrum. Don't we love intersectionality? Luke Austin's portraits aim to showcase black men in a way that goes against the stereotype. The men in Lewa have been captured in a sensitive, gentle, peaceful, and vulnerable way, words that are not often associated with black male youth in the media and such. Often photographing his models against a pink backdrop, Austin aims to show a side of black masculinity we rarely get to see. Since moving to America 3 years ago, Luke Austin recognizes the beating the black man's image has taken and delivers his important book at a time where racism and fear-mongering seem to be at an all-time high. So, first of all, you call your own book? I think he's self-published, so I'm fairly certain he wrote this. How are you going to call your own book? You're a white man and you're going to call your own book important at this time in America. There's just a lot of self-importance here, and there's a lot of fake deepness going on that unsettles me and my spirit. Seeing black men shirtless with flowers on their heads is not at all revolutionary or new. Seeing black men's masculinity portrayed in this way is, again, not in any way new or revolutionary. And it's not to say that he has to be new or revolutionary, but he's putting this book across as if it's this new thing, this thing that hasn't been done before, when we have plenty of photographers that have not only done this before, but we have one on our very own show, one Rakeem Cunningham.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Who
Thanks,
has amazing
girl.
What?
No, keep
No,
going.
I'm just saying you have amazing work. In fact, you shot me shirtless with covered in flowers in 2016.
Oh,
He did.
In 2016. So, it feels very self-important. I thought that, so he posted a picture on Instagram, and it was him wearing that shirt that everybody's wearing now. That's you were brainwashed into believing that Eurocentric features are more beautiful. And great. Thank you for wearing that shirt, I guess. But he's I don't know, the way he's kind of centering himself in this bothers me. The use of this Yoruba Nigerian word, Yoruba word. And it's just do you have any even Yoruba men in this book? Is there a reason that you use this word, or is it just did you just Google beautiful in African languages and just pick this one? I take issue with him coming out with a black book. And we discussed this last week. It's not that there's anything inherently wrong with a white photographer photographing black bodies. We talked about the Pirelli calendar and how beautiful and magnificent and awe-inspiring that was. But the context of that was different. And I feel this is him profiting off of black bodies in a way that to me is very disconcerting, for all the reasons that I've mentioned already. And furthermore, I've had experiences with this man and racist experiences with this man. And I feel that the people are giving him a lot. There's a lot of praise and, for his wokeness. And then there's the other side of it of people who don't really agree with him doing this, but saying, well, he's just a well-meaning white person. And from my experiences, and granted, this was the end of 2016, so a little over a year ago. From my experiences, this is not someone who's stumbling around. This is someone who's been told before that the things that they're doing are weird. Because keep in mind, just a few years ago, he wasn't even photographing black men and there were no black men on his Instagram.
Right.
So,
or in like real life.
Exactly. And also like muscle, wiry bodies, like that's not, again, you know what I mean? Like you're presenting black men in a specific way, in a way that they've always been presented in. Simply calling them beautiful on top of it doesn't really add anything, and it doesn't make you somehow like, I don't know, like again, revolutionary or anything. But the person that I met was not someone who was used to being challenged and their ideas challenged. It was somebody who was very comfortable in the place that they were in, and very used to being praised for doing the bare minimum in terms of like work in terms of like unlearning racism and unlearning the way that they see the world. And so for me to see this now, I see someone who's not doing the actual work and is getting profit from it. And not only profit, but praise. And it was disappointing and sad for me to see so many like black people like losing it over this. But I think that says more about like our culture and our society and the way that we like black gay men especially are starved for like affection and being treated as if we are beautiful. So that's all I really have to say about that. I'm a lot less angry about it now. I think I'm less angry with him because there's always going to be a white person to take advantage of, of that. Like there's always going to be those white people that are going to come in to do the bare minimum and then right. receive all of the praise for it. But I guess I was more annoyed with like the attention and the way that it was being talked about and the praise. I was more annoyed with the society that allows something like this to happen, I guess. Right. So that's all I have to say about that.
It's super interesting though, because I feel like, if I may, like, talk about like, and I'm not like bashing him at all. I don't know him. I don't know his heart. I don't know his work that well. I'm just hearing about it for the first time. Mm-hmm. But I can see how it can be kind of controversial because, like, a lot of times people take up space where they don't need to. Like, it would have been cooler if it was by black photographers showcasing their own culture, their own people, versus like, look at me, look at what I'm doing, look how great I am. Exactly. So I can understand why that would be upsetting. Like, yes, it's great that he's making a beautiful book and he's putting all this energy into it, but why not find black artists and why not make it just all all like black in all aspects of it, like. And then I think that would be something to celebrate. That would be like, that's really cool. Like, he took a step back and he allowed people to do their thing. Like, I think it's the whole thing about being like, I'm an ally and I'm doing, it's like,
exactly.
Yeah, but you're also taking up room,
A lot.
It's also the whole, like, you can't call yourself an ally. It's something it has to be bestowed upon you. You don't just get to, you don't walk around calling yourself a knight. Like, the queen has to knight you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
What?
Oh, come on, knighthood. Yes.
I heard this, I forget her name. She's a black queer poet last night. I have to remember her name. But she said, I don't need an ally, I need an accomplice. And so I'm like, ooh, like, I love that. Like, I love that word. Like, because a lot of times people who want to be allies get kind of like, they just take up room. And
they get complacent.
Yeah. I'm like, take a step back. And
what? Do you remember that person's name, perchance?
She did the Keem. She was at the Marie show last night, so I can find it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'll find it to Renee and I'll tell you. But it's funny because we say that all the time. Like, John and Renee say that all the time. Really? Like, we want accomplices.
Yeah.
And what I'll say is, I think you guys are right in that, like, I'm more interested right now in kind of seeing black narratives and or just narratives from people of color told from that perspective. So I think it's really, like, to me, you can't necessarily talk about the black experience unless you like live that experience. Like, Curly, like, I would never go on your show and say this is how you have to do this video or something.
Exactly.
Because it's like, I've never lived that, right? So it's like, or I would never say like, oh, I'm gonna make like a Latinx channel about like Latinx experiences, because like, what the fuck, like, I've never, you know what I mean? Like, I've never lived that. Yeah, right. So,
it'd be like if you just came out with a book of like Latinx folks and it was just like,
Right.
I don't know, like beautiful and like, I don't know, Colombian. Not Colombian, that's not a language. Sorry. and like and like Spanish, but like, or no, like maybe like some native like language, and then and then you like wore like a woke t-shirt or whatever and like expected praise for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I just know like what's for me and like what's not for me. So and like I just think it's about staying in your lane and just knowing like where your lane is, and if maybe giving the voices to someone else, but like I said, like I want to hear Black voices from Black people. And speaking of that, there was a movie that was by Black people for Black people that came out this week. So look at that
segue. Yeah.
Okay, look, a bitch has been
right quick. I do just want to say I would have had less of an issue with this if it had more diversity in terms of body type. Well, I haven't read the book, so maybe there is more diversity there. But the way that it's described doesn't give me much hope. I would have had less of an issue with that if there was that, and then if it was like multiracial, you know what I mean? Like if it was like, and then wasn't used, and if he wasn't using a Yoruba word, like if it had just been like beautiful and redefining beauty, I would see nothing wrong with that. It's the specific. Okay, you know what word I'm trying to get to? Specificness. I'm trying to say specificity. Did I get it? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, the point is, it's the fact that it's a Black book that makes me uncomfortable. I think if he had like done something different, like in terms of just being diverse, that would have been a much more interesting thing for him to do. But anyway, yes. So Black Panther came out, but also we talked about the Black Panther album last week. We did not get to talk about that this week because the episode.
Wait, Renee, were you gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No.
You sound like you have something to say, sis.
I did and I forgot. Yeah. It's fine.
Okay. Well, look, you can throw it in later. Just be like, and another thing. Second off, bitch.
Second off, bitch.
Yeah. So me and Rakeem had kind of like a little online tiff, if you will, over the top song, and I still I've tried to look this whole week. I've tried to listen to Paramedics, and it's just not that song. It just never will be.
And you stuck in wrong.
It's never gonna be that song.
You can never, Biz. I always, like I said, you can't be loud and wrong, and you're both right now. But
you can be loud and right. So anyway, as I was saying,
I am.
Ops is a good. Look, I'll give you Ops. Ops is a bop, and I'll give you and obviously Bloody Waters is amazing. So
she's a cute girl, but she's not an Ops.
Oh, girl, John,
Bloody Water. John, Bloody. He was like, what?
I was like, Bloody Water. No.
Oh Lord,
the nurse jumped out.
The nurse jumped out. Your behavior is very nursish.
Thank you.
The nurse jumped out. Oh my God. If you do see blood in your Fleet Water, though, you should,
call Nurse John.
I just take a break. Take a soul softener. Don't strain. Take a break. Don't put anything in Serta for a couple of days. Wait till it heals.
Oh my God.
Take a break.
Wait, Curly, do you know what Fleet Water is?
Fleet Water?
Let's go.
I can Google this right away. I don't though.
Oh, no, wait, you don't know what Fleet Water is?
Wait, no. What do you think it is?
Fleet Water?
Fleet.
Oh. Fleet Water?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Douching.
No, I don't know what it is. What is it?
It's douching.
Oh, cool.
It's the douche water.
Yeah. And it's part of John's brand. Like, I think he's going to come out with a line of douches at some point.
Wow, my own brand.
So his blood type is Fleet Water.
What did I learn today? Fleet Water and trade? Is that what?
Oh, yes.
Trade.
We told him what trade was.
You know what trade was?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know what trade was.
John, not everyone sits on Craigslist all day. He doesn't know what trade is.
You know what? I did. Okay. I went wine tasting with some friends this weekend, and they kept everyone knew me as that person. They're like, why don't you go to the public restroom and tap under the stall 3 times and see what happens? I was like, you guys know what's going to happen. But I didn't get to do it.
Oh,
anyway.
So sad.
The tragedy of our times.
I know. I didn't get to
a Greek
tragedy.
Anyway, back to dragging Baze's wrong ass. So, like I said, Ops is that girl. She will always be that girl.
Is. I agree.
Oh, and Paramedics is also that bitch. She will continue to be that bitch. And
I decline.
You're pressed. And
card decline.
What was My card was
It was
declined.
declined. I'm sorry, ma'am. Do you have another card?
Your mouth is writing
about
checks
this.
that your ass can't cash.
Yes. Did you listen to it?
Man.
What's happening?
I said, did you listen to
Exactly.
it? The
Wait,
lack
are we
of
going to
support.
talk about the actual movie though?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was going to be next, sis.
Renee left the theater 40 minutes ago, so he's ready
Oh, okay. See, okay.
That movie was amazing.
What did you think?
I did not expect to cry as much as I did. Like
Really?
Like, well, you know how like okay, like something like Coco.
Wait, spoilers ahead. Sorry, just fair warning. There are spoilers ahead.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers.
Wait,
ahead.
Curly, you haven't seen it, huh?
Like
Wait, Curly, did you see Black Panther?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
but
God
I'm going
damn.
to. I like
wait.
So I
opening
have-
weekends for any movie always freak me out. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait. Like I'm that person. I'm like, I'm gonna go when I'm by myself. You know.
no, that's real.
That's cute, but I have words for you too. I've said this publicly and I'll say it again. People who have not seen Black Panther by now, you hate black people.
Oh
That's
my
what it
god,
is.
you're so
The
dumb.
and I was just gonna say the anti-blackness.
Yeah, you don't like black
You
people
are
like
so
that.
dumb. No, I hate
You
people in general. So I'm gonna go when no one's at the theater.
Oh, is that
What I just
you're like
heard was-
not a crowd person?
I just feel like when you're in a big crowd of people, it takes one tiny thing to make us like into the antelope from the Lion King, and we'll just kill everybody.
Oh my
like, our
God.
stomp. So I get very like freaked out. I'm like, the less people, the better.
I have to say
What I
definitely
heard
think
was
about-
I don't want
Go
to
ahead,
be.
Go.
What I heard was I don't want to be in a theater full of niggas.
Oh my
and-
god,
I mean, I said that before I went and saw it, so.
you are so.
I sure did. I told y'all
You're
about
so
my
dumb.
experience at the Magic Johnson Theater in Harlem. Niggas was taking photos, babies were having conversations, there was a person on the phone. I was like, never again.
babies.
No.
during Black Panther.
No, it was during Wonder
Yeah.
Woman, so maybe they're probably more respectful during Black Panther. But I'm gonna see it there next weekend. I want to see it there next weekend because I really want a black ass experience. But most of the people in my theater ended up being black anyway, so and I loved it. So
Okay, so there's spoilers. Curly, do you want to take off your headphones for a bit, and we'll text you when you're ready, or do you not care?
No, let's hear it. I'm totally down for this. I don't know what to look out for when I watch it.
Oh, well, sorry, I was just
Yes.
gonna say really quick. Well, because like with a movie like Coco or something, or like something where like everyone's like, oh my god, I cried the whole time, or like going in the theater, you're like, okay, I'm gonna cry. Like that's expected, but this one I was just like, like within the first like 10 minutes, I was already crying, and then the last like I want to say the last 15 minutes, I couldn't like even leaving the theater, I couldn't stop crying. I was just like, holy shit.
Oh my God.
Wow, the cancer jumped out. Just
She really did. She really did.
it was so good. Like, wait, okay, so let's just do it like this. Base, who's your favorite character?
it's a tie. I'm bad with names, but it's the tie between Nakia, who is Lupita Nyong'o's character, and Denai's character.
Yes.
Who's the head of the? Honestly, I feel like the best characters were the black women, to be honest, and like.
Yeah.
They just,
absolutely.
They just were like they were just killing it the whole time, and they didn't need magical
She'd be like,
powers
"You
to do it.
froze." It was great. Oh my god! So my experience with Black Panther was really interesting because I've seen it 3 times now.
Damn.
Yes, go off.
Yeah. I saw it Thursday, Friday. I like when they do like the like I saw it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Thursday I went with like a group of people, and we all like we went to like this I went to the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Theater because I was like I need to be in the blackest place possible. And it was crazy because I've never seen an experience like that in the movie theater where it was just like younger black kids, older black kids, middle-aged black people, teenagers, like people our age, just all kinds of ages, like all dressed in like African garb or like their Black Panther shirts. Like I dressed up as a Black Panther, like with the beret and everything. And it was like just the reactions to everything. Like the movie was so black without like trying to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it didn't feel forced at all, which I was afraid it might.
Yeah,
feel.
there was only one moment though. What are those? That I hated, but like everything else was just so perfect, and it was just like I don't know, just the experience of being there and just seeing everyone so happy. I was low key scared that like some white maniac was gonna come and shoot up the theater.
Yeah, I was thinking that
To
too.
be
To be
real,
honest with you,
Like,
Wow.
I was looking out the door like, I was looking like exit here, exit there, because you never
it is
fucking
so
know.
sad
But it was
that we have to think that way whenever there's a movie where it's like a minority as like the main person, because someone's pissed.
Well, I think that with any movie, to be honest with you, white people are crazy.
Yeah,
You
but
never
it's,
fucking
it's,
know.
I feel like
look.
it's even worse when like it's it's something that like a bunch of white people on Reddit are pissed about.
Yeah.
Because
You know
they
what I'm
like
saying?
know that
Because-
we're all together.
Right.
Somebody actually
Yeah.
pointed out on Twitter that they were like, I noticed that people are kind of like laughing at how irritated white people are about this, but one thing that I wanted to point out is that this isn't like an active like I don't remember the exact wording, but basically what they were saying was that a part of white supremacy is like white people needing every part of any sort of positivity that black people have, wanting a part of it and wanting in. And so for black people to take joy in something, white people's like first instinct is to take it because that's kind of what they've always done So like, it was just like a very interesting thing. Cause I never even like, I've been laughing. I'm like, oh, white people are mad. I've been laughing, and actually I haven't even seen that many white people being mad. Not on my feed. I don't know. I must be following the right people, but it just was like it was just an interesting take on that.
Yeah, and it was scary, but it was nice just to kind of see. I mean, that didn't happen, thank God. But it was just nice just to see, so many people enjoying the movie and like the references, and like I think Shuri was my favorite character by far. Like she's just a bad.
Oh, she
bitch.
is. I forgot to mention
The
her.
scientist?
Yeah.
Yes, like she, and then I just love when she's like, "You froze," and I was just like, "Yes!" Like it was so good, and like, I can't remember the girl's name, but basically you were saying in the Dora Milaje, I think that's what they're called.
It's like Okoye or
the
something.
general-
I'm like really bad at remembering her name.
Okoye, or I think that's what it is, or something like that. She was amazing. She stole the show when she threw her wig.
Bitch.
Mine flew off.
No, okay. So let me just say,
was so like that
Gagged.
was a fucking moment.
gagged when she like. First of all, the fact that she was like, she looked. First of all, like that whole bar
Gorgeous.
scene. Her and Lupita looked elegant as fuck, and to watch,
She looked like Viola Davis. It was amazing.
Yeah, she did with the wig on. She did. To watch like her in this beautiful flowing red gown beating some men's asses was amazing. And then when she like jumped off, when she jumped off the fucking balcony or whatever, and the dress was just like flowing around her, I was like, look at God.
And I like how she even like before that whole fight scene, she like already hated her hair. Like she was talking. I
appreciated that too.
She looks most beautiful bald. You know what I mean?
I appreciated that part too.
That's because she didn't have on a wig cap. She put that shit straight on her head. Like
no, but she said she felt like fake wearing it, or I forgot what her line was, but she should feel like authentic.
Like she didn't feel more beautiful by it wearing it.
Yeah,
and I like that too.
They were subtly dragging the Fashion Nova ass bitches, but it was great. And then she like the scene where she threw the spear during the car chase, and then she caught it during the air, and then Lupita's ass kind of like slides on with.
Oh,
like,
that was
the
hilarious.
Wheel was great. Oh my God, we cannot talk about Black Panther without talking about the Jabari tribe, because I want his thighs to crush my esophagus.
Oh, Mboku.
Because my daddy.
Mbak, yeah, I mean, Mbak me. I just want.
You're so stupid.
I want him to step on my throat. I want him
Mbaku.
to choke me. I want him to call me a bitch. I want him to tell me that I'm worthless and I'm a piece of shit and that I'm not deserving to lick his boot.
Wow.
And I'm okay with that, right?
And he's a vegetarian.
Would you call that a fetish?
Who said that?
Yes, when the Thick Daddy tribe came in, when the Thick Daddy Mountain tribe, I was like, whoo, Father,
Curly,
you
God.
When that happens, I already know you're going to text me and be like, I know exactly.
Father God,
because
I've seen Winston, right? Like, what's his name? Winston.
Oh, but it's not just him.
Yes,
it's the whole tribe. They all look like
really?
that. The whole tribe.
They just
like
come
that.
through, just thick.
I've just seen like Winston all over my Instagram timeline. So I'm like, yes,
oh, that is a man, a whole
It's
entire
honestly,
man.
like,
Did you guys?
A man, and just
go
ahead.
I was gonna say, did you guys see it in a pretty like diverse theater per se? Because
the first time was all.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Okay.
but before I looked around, like, you know, when Shuri makes that colonizer joke, I was like, maybe me and the person I was with, we were the only ones laughing, and I laughed
Oh, you must have
so
saw
loud
it.
that
You
I
saw it in a
realized-
white theater?
No. Shuri calls that white guy.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm
colonizer.
saying you saw it in a white because you said you were the only ones that laughed at it.
Oh yeah, so that's what I was saying. So like, I took a minute, I looked up around, I was like, oh my god, wait, everyone here is white, and I felt like really bad for laughing. 'Cause I was
Why?
like, is this-
I would have laughed harder.
I was like, wait, did they not get that this is about them?
You should have said and be like, "You are colonizers."
That's probably why
like,
they weren't
damn
laughing.
what?
They probably
When you
got
guys saw
exactly
it,
what it was.
Did people laugh in your theater at that joke?
Yeah, mine's too. Everybody laughed.
Dang.
The first theater I saw it in was 98% black. The second theater I saw it in was like 40% black, and then the last one was mostly white people. So it was interesting because it was like the level of hype went down like with each audience. And I felt like Thursday night had like the best crowd because that's when people like showed the fuck out. Like, you know, Baze, what's her name on Instagram? Like Lala Sissy.
Oh,
like,
when she came in with those guys carrying her, that video cracks me up.
Yes.
I've watched it a million times.
I wish I had two thick ass black dudes carrying me up into the theater. I wish I didn't. I should have thought of that. That would have been
Wouldn't
great.
it? I should have hired some niggas.
Really though, because look, okay, never mind. Let me not be problematic. But yes, go off.
Were you about to say something about slavery?
What?
Mm.
No, I was not going to say that.
Oh, girl,
That is not
this gonna be your
no.
I was not going to say that.
I was not going to say that. You are using your mouth to throw shade, and I think
Father
we should all
God.
love one another.
What do you guys? Oh, hello.
Yes.
No, go off.
What do you guys think about the discussions that? Because I was talking to my friend afterwards about the movie, how it was pretty. I guess it was addressing a lot of things that I think no other Marvel or Disney movie has addressed before, like
Racism,
when
colonization.
well, yeah, and like specifically colonization and like what's been happening to like
Oppressed
you know,
folks.
so right, so like the whole approach that Michael B. Jordan had.
I was
like,
rooting
you know,
for him the whole time.
Yeah, and so I was thinking that too. I
I
was like,
wasn't.
wait, well, I was a little curious, like, why? Like, I kind of want to see where this goes. You know, if he
Yeah.
was like actually king for a while, because it's true. Like, we think about like all the resources that was taken away from these people, and how certain society has turned their back on their own people and just forgetting about it. And I'm like, wow, this is like. I still had to think like this is a Disney movie, you know, like a Marvel movie, and like we don't ever get to think about this, and it's like crazy how it's like getting a lot of people who've never thought about it to think about it as well. Does that make sense?
I felt
Yeah.
so. I felt
Did you guys think his approach was like?
So initially, I was just like, I was all for Michael B. Jordan's character. I was like, oh yeah, he knows what's up. He's doing it right. But then I was like, the more I actually thought about it, I was like, but is this like a good idea? Like it just felt like destruction for destruction's sake. And the more I've been talking to people, the more I've been like, yeah, like there's no real plan, and there's no real like, you know, what happens to Wakanda after you do these things? Like, what are you involving this country in? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like all good and great to be like, well, like we should all, you know, uprise against white people and take them out and kill all of them. But like, is that really what we want to do?
Wait.
Like, it's just like, I don't know. Like,
Renee.
no. I like,
Well,
it
it's
just
funny
felt, it just felt like, it was like very fake deep, fake woke. Like I have no real plan. I'm just gonna do this. We're just gonna do this thing, and we're gonna destroy. And I not to say that I'm like, oh, like T'Challa like has the answers and this what's up. But I just felt like what Killmonger was. It just Killmonger. It just was like no, like there was no like what happens afterwards. And what somebody else pointed out to me is that he was like, you know, he was trained by the military, the CIA, and so. And somebody pointed out to me like that he was, you know, using the tools of white supremacy to tackle white supremacy.
Yeah.
Shake the table.
So it's just like, and then it's like he's coming from this like American, you know what I mean? He's coming from America, and he's.
What did you?
Yeah.
What did you guys think about that line at the very end? Okay, like.
Oh, I thought that was.
spoiler.
I low key rolled my eyes. Wait, when he died.
Yeah,
I did. I rolled my eyes
You
because I
wrote-
saw that. I was like, literally, like, this sounds like something a fake deep nigga on Instagram would post, like, as he's at the beach.
Wait.
it's better to drown than be bondaged or something.
It was like,
Like
like, put me in the ocean, put my body in the ocean so I can be with my
Yeah.
ancestors.
It's better to be dead than bonded or something.
Oh, that was good. That was good, I guess. But like the other thing, I was just like, girl, it just was very like.
I loved it.
No, it was good, but I was just still like, it was very like.
The Hotep.
It was
jumped
very.
out.
It was very
loved
Hotep.
it.
Like if Killmonger was like a real person, he would be on the internet talking about how the water is turning us gay and women are supposed to have periods.
He was just like Black Queen,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, ideologically, I don't think he was.
He
wrong.
wasn't wrong. His belief system was right. It was his methods.
It was his implementation
Yeah.
that was
So
bad.
so like
you know?
Lupita's character kind of had, I feel like, a similar mindset. Or I don't know if y'all remember in the beginning
Yeah,
when she was
but
like,
better
we need to
methods.
start taking resources and
Right.
and like spreading them outwards.
But her approach was a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
So she had kind of the same mindset, but yeah, the approach was completely different.
Yeah, I was actually
Yeah, the
talking about
approach
that
is-
with my friend. That Michael B. Jordan and Lupita had sort of the same mission, just
Yeah.
different ways of going about it.
What exactly? I think that was done purposely because it was just all about the implementation. It's like kind of when you're talking to Bay and you're like, you know, I'm going to bottom and I'm going to be verse and they're like, yeah, like great. And then when it comes to the implementation, you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, you know? So sometimes things don't always go as you plan.
Yeah,
That's all.
That's exactly how that was.
Yeah.
No,
I
but I
just think-
did.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Go,
was.
go.
I think like just the part of the reason why I was rooting so much for Killmonger was because I think.
Because he's from Oakland.
Well,
He's
it was
from the
funny
band, he
watching
hates
it.
white people.
It was funny watching it here, but it was just kind of like I think the friends that I have or the people that I know that are the most like quote unquote angry are also the ones that are the most heartbroken by things that were like taken from them, and like he was presented with like this dream of just like, I'm going to get you out of here and I'm going to take you back to like the most beautiful place that you've ever seen. And that was taken from him. And like even this idea that like there was going to be progress for people of color in the US, like that never actually happened. So it's like these two separate dreams that like were deferred and were never actually realized. And it's just like this person was incredibly heartbroken. And I think that's what really fucked me up at the end. And when they passed, like that really fucked. Like I really, even leaving the theater, I was still crying. Like it like really fucked me up. But anyways,
Yeah.
Maybe what we can do is turn Black Panther into a discourse because I think it kind of maybe deserves it. Yeah, because we could talk about this like the whole episode.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
let's. You know, I was gonna be like, we're gonna do better than they did on the read, but because they stand for like 20 minutes, but they actually didn't spoil anything. So I think we did significantly worse, but it's okay.
Again, like I said, if you didn't see it by Tuesday, you hate Black people. That's really what it is. Curly, I'm looking
We
at
really-
you,
Tuesday.
and that's
We
all.
just need to-
until tomorrow.
We're putting a
Okay, yep,
we're putting a
till tomorrow.
timestamp on. We need to put a timestamp in the thing so people know Black Panther spoilers. But interiors, the Quinty Jones interview. Do you guys want to talk about that, or do you guys want to skip that?
I think we can move on because I think that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. What about Beyonce's light skin privilege?
You know what I was going to say,
y'all can
Baze?
talk-
I was.
We were going to.
Well, because they're just like, oh, we're not black.
We're not talking about it.
Well, yes, we could get to that, but I wanted to ask you: did you see the Fergie video?
I sure did see the Fergie video, and I have no words.
Wait,
I
what?
would have literally
A
just
new
stopped
music video?
and walked off.
Curly, did you see
I
it?
saw little snippets of her performance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, if
we're
you want
talking
to call it
about
a
her
performance, but yes.
I'm so mad.
She's saying the
It was,
Star Spangled Banner.
Damn.
I thought it was a joke when I saw it.
She sounded like a bad saloon singer.
It was like, it's one of those things, you know, when you watch something and you just get secondhand embarrassment and you're
That's
just
why I
like,
can't watch it.
continue.
I
like,
couldn't watch it. I watched the video with
Yeah.
everyone, the facial reactions to her,
That
but I
is so
couldn't watch
funny.
like the actual video of her because I was like, I'm so embarrassed for you.
The part that took me out at the end, she goes, "Well, let's play some basketball."
Did she say that?
Yes.
Oh god.
And I'm like, you just butchered the anthem. And then, like, if you look at the facial reactions of the players, they're like, oh.
Do you think that she rehearsed before, though? Like, do you think that was, like, her first time singing it for the day? Or, like...
People have found other videos of her
rehearsed.
singing the Star Spangled Banner, and they all sound not as bad as last night, but they all sound pretty bad.
Her rehearsal was her going and snorting 2 lines of cocaine. And then she sang right after that. To me, she sounded like a Lana Del Rey concert. So I'd take that as you may.
I saw the video on Tumblr, and you know how you just scroll and it automatically plays? I thought someone had like dubbed it. It was,
Me
like,
too. Same.
I was like, oh my god, this is so funny. And then like as I continued watching, I was like, oh shit, this is really happening. Like, this is not a joke. Because I thought it was like, you know, on YouTube where people like music videos without the music or whatever. Like, I thought it was one of those like satire videos. But it was real and I felt so sad.
I know. I actually,
But you know what?
It's like Fergie Ferg. So I'm like, oh, like I wanted her to do well, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Fergie.
I just wanted her to not have come out with that visual album. It was
I
not
didn't
called.
see
It was
it.
not called for.
It's
She was-
visual?
Yes,
Yeah, there was a visual.
there were.
she was
You
doing
can call
interviews.
you can call them that. There were visuals.
Did you watch it? I didn't watch it. I saw this.
I didn't watch any of them. I watched one partial. I watched MILF Money, and or I guess it's just called MILF, but she says MILF Money in the song. And then I think I watched like one other and not all the way through, and I was like, wow, this didn't need to happen, and I stopped.
Oh no. That's sad. That's something like she's probably been waiting for so long to release an album, and then was like, "This is
Yeah.
it," and this wasn't it.
She saw Beyonce
She
and
actually
she was
was.
like, hold my drink. Lord Jesus. And then took it right on
Oh,
back.
no. Poor girl.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's the anthem that we deserve right now, you know? Like, I felt like it was very reflective of, like, where the country
I
is.
was
and
dead at people
I-
on Twitter
I
saying
heard that too.
Everybody
Mhm.
was like, this was actually just a radical act. This was her political commentary on our times.
I was looking for Renee's Twitter handle to see if he was like ghost writing the tweets. Cause I was
Right?
like,
It was
such
so
a
Renee. I couldn't think of anybody else when I was reading them.
Wait, reading what?
There was just a bunch of tweets
They
talking
were
about
just-
how like she sang so badly because it was a radical act and she
Oh.
was giving us the national anthem that we deserve.
Someone was like,
That wheeze. I
wait,
love
that
it.
is me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Someone was like, oh, this was like her version of taking a knee.
Yeah, so that's what somebody said.
The anti-imperialist that we need.
Yes. Do you have a name for us?
Oh my god.
For someone who coined accomplice Ana Grande?
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Accomplice.
Okay. What y'all think of Black China's
Accomplice?
video being released?
Curly, did you see it?
that's-
You know where? Did you?
Wait, what video?
Where
is
can
it?
I even see that?
So
Twitter.
so apparently Cardi B's best friend leaked a video of Black China sucking somebody's dick.
What?
Is
And
where can I
and
watch
Black
that?
China
That's
is
messed up.
currently getting dragged because everybody expected her to be giving head a specific
Superhead,
way.
like-
They expected it to be like, you know, she has a reputation for being like, what's the word I want to use?
Uh-huh.
Girl,
She
be
has a
careful.
reputation.
Tread lightly.
And so people expected more from the video than what they got. And so there was just like a lot of jokes
Huh.
about her being like lazy at giving head. I did not participate because
Wow.
I think this counts as revenge porn. So I was like, I maybe won't join in on joking on this, but
Damn, it's wiped off of Twitter. She really called Lisa Bloom, and they got this shit wiped off.
I mean, she put her on her blonde wig, and she called up Lisa Bloom, and she was like, "Madam, let's go to work."
Let's go to work. I'm trying to find it right now to
Me
send it to you,
too.
Curly, but I can't.
I mean,
That's what I was saying.
that's kind of messed up, though, right? Like,
No, it is.
I know we.
No, it is. The thing that took me out about it was the commentary, because everyone, that's why I was telling you guys earlier, like, everyone is like, oh my God, like, why is she sucking dick like that? And that's why I was like, do you have to gag on dick every time
I
you
mean,
suck it? Like,
I think you should gag on it if you want to do well.
Oh my god,
I
that's
think
me.
I think it should at least there should be a potential for gagging. It has to at least get far enough in your mouth so that you can gag if you
So
want
can
to.
Gag, yeah. I mean,
Oh, I
Gag
guess- I
option-
guess
gag
it's a
optional.
personal tongue.
Do.
You said you
really
gag
good
as soon as it
etiquette.
touches your tongue. What if you stick your tongue out?
It's just
I'm really bad at. Oh.
Oh wait, I'm watching.
It's
this.
just-
Maneuvers.
gagging is dick sucking etiquette.
Is it?
I mean, you
Yeah,
gotta gag
like
at least
it.
once.
I like when a
You got-
guy's gagging on me. I'm like, oh yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
doing great.
Your
and then
throat
when
and
I
your throat
gag-
tightens on it too.
Wait, what? Now?
I've been thrown up on, so I'm not a huge fan of gagging. Like, someone's thrown up on me.
It's
for
a
doing that.
compliment.
Wha-
It's a compliment.
I've thrown up before.
Was it
I've
though,
been
sis?
the thrower upper before.
I've thrown up like a little bit in my mouth, but I've never like actually. It never came out. I just
No.
Wait, Curly.
Someone threw up. I
Yeah.
saw their meal.
Had you just eaten?
No, this is back in my drinking days. This is my
it
drinking
like-
days, so I had just drinking, and then I just like threw up. But I had the dick and the vomit in my mouth,
Oh yeah.
and so I was just like, "What do I do?" And so I just swallowed all that vomit again.
Oh my god!
Oh my
I was
god.
gonna
You know,
ask,
I'm a-
is it like
Did the
is it
person
like
know
going in the
person now?
pool? Like
Did
you
the
can
person
you just
know?
like dick 30 minutes after?
I think you can smell vomit, right? So,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, so I'm a better person. I'm okay with talking about having dick and vomit in my mouth. So,
But you're a trooper and you finished.
Mhm.
That's the Virgo in you, you know?
Exactly. Focus.
Yes. You're the Virgo jumped out. It's okay. That's great.
Yeah.
But I can't do that.
I think gagging is great. I think you gotta gag, and then while it's back there and you're gagging, you lick the balls. You know,
Oh my god. See,
Wow.
I'm so bad at this.
trick of.
John is like, I've decided to become a stan.
I'm so excited. Learning new things.
about
You know, y'all don't gag.
you're excited about what?
No,
Sucking dick?
I'm just learning. Like, I'm like taking notes.
Oh, he's like, so when you feel it in your throat,
Yeah.
that's when you grab the balls.
Yeah. And you should be gagging too when you're swallowing. That's what I
Wait,
always tell people.
do y'all like find gagging like pleasurable? Like if
It's
you're gagging yourself?
complimentary.
No, but I mean, I get it. But like, I hate it because I'm just like, what if I throw up? And it's not pleasant.
I just like to
I
do it
hate
for the other
gagging.
person.
I hate gagging myself. I like when guys gag though
Okay.
on myself. If that makes
Baze has been real quiet.
Base?
Oh, hello.
Come in, base.
Mm-hmm.
Earth to base.
Yes.
Oh, she
You gonna
signed an
contribute?
NDA this time.
Oh, she's a Christian woman now.
NDA,
okay.
NSA.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm saved.
He's like gagging. I don't know that. I haven't seen
But-
that. Never taste.
Shout out to Lena Waithe for getting a new show. It's going to be on TBS. It's going to be called 20s. And it's about a young queer black woman coming of age.
What?
So, yeah. I don't know. I thought we'd end this minutes of color on a good note. Also, I'm super
Gagging
excited
is
for
a good
for
note.
March because not only are we getting Love Simon, we're also getting what's that damn movie called?
Oh, I thought you were doing a dramatic.
So
pause
yeah, I
and
was
you
like
actually
gonna do
didn't
that, and I
know.
was like, wait, maybe I can still play this off, but it was starting to take too long. What's the Time movie with Oprah?
A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh,
There we
Wrinkle
go.
in
Yes,
Time?
yes. I was gonna be like
A
Time
Gagging in
Turner, but
Time.
that's Harry Potter. Yes, A Wrinkle in
Turner.
Time, and we're getting Love Simon, and I'm really excited and looking forward to both of those.
I just
films.
saw Love Simon actually. I'm
Mark did
interested-
too. Did you like it?
I'm interested to see what you guys think about it too. I did enjoy it because I think it's important for young gay people or young queer folk to have movies like that available. But it was also a little strange because the men in it were just stunning, like beautiful, and I was like, I was such a little potato growing up, and I think that adds to the whole growing up as a gay person is that you're figuring your shit out. You're probably fucking ugly as fuck, like. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't as easy as these guys. Like they're just stunning, and it's like, oh yeah, it's so easy to just find another boyfriend and love and da 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 da. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's very like conventionally attractive and white. So
well.
Yeah,
also,
but there's
like,
other POC in the movie. There's POC in the movie.
Everybody else is a POC, which is another interesting conversation too. Because you're like, are we always like the ones that are supporting the main white person to find love? Like, when are we gonna find?
True,
I mean,
yeah.
did you guys figure out who he falls in love with at the end?
I
or-
don't know that yet, but I just
Okay.
I don't want to be spoiled for that. But I was like very much like rolling my eyes when I saw the trailer for it because I was like, first we got what's the white gay incest,
Call Me
not
by Your
incest,
Stonewall.
What is it? Yeah,
Pedophilia
movie.
Wait, I didn't find it pedophilic, but okay.
Well, what eBophile.
Ebophile. What is that?
That's when they like teenagers. It's the distinction, I guess.
It's less gross.
Yeah, there's people that are like, first of all, they're not a pedophile. They like teenagers.
Oh, no.
So I'm just like, okay.
First of all,
I know.
But
yeah, it was a good movie though. I like recommend seeing. I'm actually doing something with them this week, so I recommend it. But you know, in the movie Hercules, like the Disney version, remember how like the muses were like trying to help Megara find love, and
Yes.
like, it feels like that. It feels like POCs are constantly put in a place where we're like, who do you think you're kidding? He's the
I won't say I'm in love.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, okay.
Which is an iconic song, but yes,
It's an
problematic. It is problematic.
I mean, it's problematic because it tells you to fall in love.
No. I don't think it's problematic. I think
that is very
it's
much
more
a
like,
me song, but it's problematic because it's like always it's the black women that are like, oh my god, like supporting characters, but they're not ever like the main characters.
yes, look at you explaining racism to a black person. Come through.
I definitely.
I'm just playing with you, sis.
No, but listen. No, but that's a very me. Like, listen to that song. That's a very, very much a me song. But anyways, go ahead, Curly.
No, I think that you guys should watch it. It's definitely an important film, I think, and also their marketing is great. I don't know how it is on the East Coast, but on the West Coast, their billboards are all over LA, and it'll say things like "Which way to WeHo" or like "Wait in line," but it doesn't have to be straight. Like, their marketing is great. I'm like, yes, you guys are on it, and definitely watch it.
In New York, it's
All
like
right.
the posters are like, well, like, why do gay people have to come out? Maybe straight people should have to come out. I don't really read them, so I don't know like all of what the other ones say, but
which is a BuzzFeed
It's okay.
video.
Base has trouble. It's okay, Curly. Base has trouble reading, so that's just what that is.
Oh, Base.
But
I don't have any trouble reading you,
know.
sweetie.
Oh, bitch, try it.
Sweaty. Anyway, this is a long ass segment.
I'm
so,
waiting.
That's gonna be it for Minutes of Color. We'll be back with the dickscourse.
Dickscourse.
Oh my god.
Hello and welcome.
Oh my
back
god,
to
Baze, when you said that, it was in sync with the video. Let me just close it. Ew, sorry, keep going.
the dickscourse. Okay. Yep, there we go. Sorry, I forgot what the discourse was for a second. So, today's discourse, yes, that was an accent change. Today's discourse is about imposter syndrome. Do you feel it? And how do you combat it?
Do you maybe want to explain what imposter syndrome is?
Oh, well, I mean, sure. Imposter syndrome is when you are like I don't know, maybe this isn't the only definition of it, but when you've achieved some amount of success or you just feel like you're getting something that you don't necessarily deserve. So you're kind of hard on yourself about it. And so you feel like you don't deserve it. So you're like, what the fuck? And you're really insecure about it. So, yeah.
Well, since Curly is the guest, do you want to go first?
Yeah. I actually was telling Kim about it last week. That, why are you laughing?
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, it kind of...
Because you were just like, yeah, yes.
Oh, no, because as I opened my mouth to answer, I like almost started choking on my spit. And I was like, because you gave me that mint. You just handed me a mint right now. So I'm extra. Like, I'm like all like over here.
Was that?
But no. So
Was
like,
that a hint?
What? Oh no! I asked.
Bye, Renee.
I smelled his breath, and I was like, "Oh, I want one too." So yeah.
Not like that.
So
Oh my god! Don't start that rumor.
You guys are funny.
They're
no,
so
I mean,
messy.
I felt it.
Oh my
Especially, I
God.
mean, you would have to feel that some sort of way when you're like. I always tell people like one day I was stocking sodas and chips, and the next day I was holding a camera. So you have to feel like I felt a certain way. And I was telling Keem as well that like I sometimes confuse it with like minority syndrome as well, because, you know, sometimes you'll be in a room or a board meeting or something and you're in a room full of white folk and they're using all these words and all these, you know, phrases that you're like, I've never heard that before. You know, I've never heard these sentences, or I've never heard these sorts of, not conversations, but, you know, a lot of things that I just wasn't experienced with. So you feel like, how did I get here? I want to sound smart. I want to sound a certain way. And it sucks and it happens. But then you're kind of like, you know, you have to fall back on your body of work, and you need to fall back on all the things that you've accomplished and hopefully find a way to get past it. I still have trouble with it all the time. Like, it's very real for me. It's very real that every time that I get any sort of a bit of success, I'm like, how did I get here? How did this happen? And the people around me are really big in being like, you've worked so hard to be here. Like, it's incredible, like, what you've done. So just go with it. You know, but it's very real, and it still happens to me all the time. But what about you guys?
When it does happen to you, oh, well, can I ask you a follow-up question?
Of course.
Okay. When it does happen to you, like, do you have kind of specific, I guess, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a process
Tools?
that you go through to.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fuck you, but yes.
No, I'm just.
to like get yourself out of it, or like, or how does it like, and then also like, how does that manifest for you? Like the voices in your head or whatever, like what do they tell you about like yourself, you know?
I think
that like when they say you're not good enough, like, well, like what kind of stuff do they say?
I think I just lean in heavy on what I do know about, like, on the things that I am certain about. Like, for example, like, you know, I'm in a room full of like producers who know the camera so well, who know how to edit so well, who understand lighting and sound more than I ever will. But I know that creatively, artistically speaking, my eye is like no other. Like, I know beauty, and I recognize that that is a talent, that is my gift right there. And I might not know how to man the camera that well. I might be decent about it. I might be mediocre. But when it comes to making beautiful things and putting things together that are aesthetically pleasing, I know that I got it. And so that is kind of like when I'm in these rooms or in these meetings, like I lean heavy into that. Or if it comes to like Latino content, like working in Latino content now for like a year and a half, like I know what people are looking for. I know what people like. I know what does well. I know what doesn't do well. So if I'm talking about that, I'm fine. But if you're going to be like, well, tell me about this, then it like creeps up again. So I think leaning in heavy is the first step. Leaning in heavy on what you do know, and then going from there.
Wow, that was a word.
Yeah, that's profound. Like I'm kind of like, oh,
Thank you.
you know the gif of Tanisha like crying.
Yeah, that one single tear falls on her face.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
But
interesting.
like
Yeah.
actually,
Okay.
It just happens. Like, how do you avoid it? And I think that like anybody, I feel like, you know, especially being minorities, like we feel that all the time. Like being in our places of what we're doing, like when have we done it before? And maybe my parents have never. My mom was a cashier at the 99-cent store, and my dad was a janitor for a long time. Like never in their wildest dreams would they imagine that I would be on the net making Latino content, meeting people that we've looked up to since day one. You know, but you're kind of like. And I'm still like, fuck, I don't know how to, like, what the fuck is ISO and shutter speed? And I know how to use it, but I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck it means. I just play with the numbers and I get my results, you know? But if you're like, let's get a dope background, let's get a great artist, let's get the colors in, let's do this. This is what I want. This is the shot that I need. Like, I know that, especially coming from La Chappelle land and Jeremy Scott world, like, I know that I have a different eye. And I know that, like, I'm not like these regular YouTubers out here. Like I know that I can fall back on this.
Said, bitch, I'm not regular.
What?
Talk your shit. Oh, I said talk your shit. I love that.
Come through. I'm not like these other hoes.
Yep, that's right.
I'm not like these. When I learn ISO and shutter speed, it's over for you hoes.
There's that line from Nicki Minaj.
Oh my god.
There's that line from Nicki Minaj, and she's like, "I'm not a regular bitch." And it's, I don't know. Is it go jump in a ditch? I don't remember, but anyway.
I don't know. I'm a little Kim
Oh,
fan, so
you
don't be
right.
quoting Nicki at me.
What'd you think about Sheether?
What I think
Wait,
about-
you're not a Barb?
No, I'm a Kim fan.
Wow.
So I feel like Kim for me is so.
No, I'm just kidding. We don't care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got your
Yeah, like no one. Yeah.
No, Kim forever.
The only Nikki stan is Rakeem, and he's low key about it.
Oh, I thought I heard him gasp in the living room right now. There, I heard it.
It must have been involuntary. But sorry,
I didn't
continue
ask to be.
you were.
Wow, drag me. Okay, damn. I just came here to have a good time.
What about you guys though?
Who wants to go next?
I guess I could dabble a little bit in this conversation. I think like my life.
You want me to go?
Directionless for like probably the majority of my adulthood, and it's only within like the last, I want to say like year and a half that I've really felt like my life is going in a direction.
How old are you now?
And I'm 26.
Oh yeah, that's your return of Saturn, right? That's when it starts.
What?
Your return of Saturn? I think that's when it starts.
What is that?
What does that mean?
I think
that's the No Doubt album.
Yes, it is. But also, I believe, I could be mistaken, but a lot of people say your return of Saturn is like all the planets are back in the place that they were when you were born. So you're kind of like, everything is new, like things are new. You're kind of discovering where you're gonna go in the next chapter of your life. So this is great. So there's a lot of like career changes. You're ending a lot of relationships. You're beginning new ones. Like you're really becoming or growing into yourself from 26, I believe, to 33. I think is the time.
Wow.
Well,
fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to interrupt you though, but
yeah, I feel it's okay. It was like crazy because I don't think of myself as having grown, I guess, at all really, and especially not in terms of my career. Like I don't really like, I think like when I really sit and think about it, I have grown. Like I remember, like I said, I've talked about this a million times, the point where like when I was 18 and I was like depressed and I couldn't even go outside and I couldn't interact with anyone, let alone like the idea that I'm even like doing this show right now, which, you know, sometimes I still get massive anxiety even doing this, but it was like somebody was like, oh wow, you guys do a podcast like every week, like that's crazy, and they were like shook by it. And like granted, you know, Rakeem shoulders a good portion, the majority of the work behind the scenes, but it still is work. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know what I mean? Like to like do the social media and every week, and then like, you know, I'm on my lunch and I'm like, you know, making sure to add this and put that here and like think up like words to write for the description and coming up with topics, and you know what I mean? And thinking of discourse topics and like I didn't really like think about that. And so like when people are like, oh my God, I love Podcast Color and I love the show, it's like still crazy to me that people love something that like I've worked to make happen, and it still doesn't feel real to me. And I still don't feel like when people tell me like, oh my God, like when people are like, oh my God, you guys do so much, I'm just like, I mean, especially when I'm comparing myself to Rakeem, I'm like, I don't do anything at all. But I'm also like, wow, like, you know, I do shit, you know what I mean? And like with my writing, I've been getting further in my book, and I remember like a week or so ago, I went back and read a chapter, and then I was like, wow, like this actually looks like it might turn into something. And I gave it to Mark, and he read it, and he was like, this needs some work, but this is really good. And it was just shocking to me because I was like, I had that imposter syndrome. I was like, what do you mean this is like kind of good? Like this is like, it didn't even like when I'm writing, I don't even feel like what I'm writing is legible. So for somebody to read something that I've written and say this is actually pretty good was like an outer body experience for me. Like I was overwhelmed and I didn't know how to feel. I was like, this isn't me. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just writing. I'm just putting words to paper. And so there was moments like that. I was, you know, Mark has been forcing me at writing events to pitch my book to people. And I've been pitching it to agents and editors who work for, you know, big like publishing companies, publishing houses. And people are like, I want your book when you finish with that. I want to read it. And I'm just like, what? Like, huh? Like, it's just like, it blows my mind that anything that something that could come from me and something that I could create could could be of interest, I guess, to anybody. And so when it is, it's just like this, I don't feel like I deserve it. And I'm just like, I didn't do anything and there's no way, you know, I mean, fingers crossed. And I probably shouldn't even mention it, but I was like, I've had somebody reach out to me to be a featured guest at a convention. And I'm just like,
hey,
I won't want to talk, like, I won't go into detail because I don't, like, it's not been finalized yet. But even if it doesn't happen, the fact that, like, somebody reached out to me and, like, had that, you know what I mean? I was just like, who the fuck am I? Like, why would you want to have me at your convention? And so it still feels like, I don't know how to even deal with it because this is all feels like new to me. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I still am, like, learning how to process all of that, because even now as I'm saying all this stuff, I feel like, what am I saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, as I'm telling you guys this stuff, I'm just like, whose life am I talking about? Whose stuff am I talking about? Because I can't be talking about mine. It just feels like completely foreign to me. It's like when those people like cut off their hands because they feel like their hand doesn't really belong to them. I'm just like, this is not me. This is not a part of me. Like, success, like what? Like the possibility of success, like things happening. It's just crazy. It's just, I don't know. It's just so bizarre. And I'm like, I like look at, you know, Rakeem, and I'm just like, girl, like, I hope you don't have this because you are constantly doing
bitch.
Shit.
Oh, well, I got some news for you.
But like, yeah, it's just like things happen. Like my picture for this week at Black Panther, I like put a lot of effort into the outfit, and it got onto the Fader website, and I didn't even think, like, I was just like, I put a lot of effort into it, but then when I saw it on the website, I was like, well, I don't even like look all that good. Like, that's just whatever. And so it's just like all these things. Yeah, that's how I felt. But when I was at home putting it on, I was like, okay, this is really cute. I love this. But like the idea of like other people, I guess, validating the things that I do, I'm just like, oh, it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was reading that chapter from my book, and the only reason I even gave it to Mark is because I was like, I look like that gif of Tanisha. Like I was nodding my head with the tear running down my eye. Like I was like, I felt proud of it. But the minute I gave it to somebody else and they told me that it had potential and that it was good, and that the story there was good, I just was like, this is nothing. So it was like the minute that somebody else validated me, I just completely it's like I feel like dissociated or not dissociated, but detached from whatever it is that I've created.
Because you're not used to validation.
Wow.
I guess that could be true. But it's, yeah, so I don't know. That was a long little rant, but
no, it's okay. And it's funny, Base, because it like I have it really bad too, and it's funny hearing you say that because it's like it's still surreal to me. And I was actually talking to Curly about this like before we started recording a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of saying how it's crazy and surreal because it's like my life is so different because of this show and the people that I get to talk to and the people that I get to meet and like interact with, like with the Out magazine thing, like I just randomly got a DM from them one day and I was just like, me? Like what, you know? And it's like, even actually, Curly, I haven't told you this, but like when I met you, like when we first like became friends, like I was actually kind of shook that you even knew who I was. Okay. And I was like, oh, like, okay.
Aw, I'm happy you think I'm that cool. Thank you.
Oh no!
Yeah, when
I
you said you wanted to be on our show, like I was like,
what?
Oh, yeah,
okay, like
what? Oh,
guys, he knows
I was like,
our
let
show.
Me get this. I was like, let me get this new mic, like let me get, because it's just like you look, because it's just like I don't know. I still feel like whenever I'm doing something that I don't deserve it either. Well, I don't say I don't deserve it, but it feels unearned. Surreal and it feels weird, like it's not like it really like it's me. And I feel it a lot at work, and I made a point to not say this on the air before, but I guess I'll say it now. Like I never really finished school, so when I'm at work and like when I'm doing these shows and like I'm curating them and I'm working with these artists and stuff, and people, like even yesterday I was helping 3 artists install at work. And they were saying, oh, I respect your opinion so much. You do so well. Like, I'm glad that you are here. And, you know, we respect what you're saying so much. And this makes sense. And it's crazy to me because I feel like I'm not deserving or I'm not like worthy of doing that. And I always have this weird feeling that when I come into work, I'm going to get an email that says you're a fraud and you're fired and you're leaving. And it's like, I think that every single fucking day. Like, and even with photography stuff, like, sometimes it took me a really long time to get comfortable shooting stuff outside of like my studio and my house. So if I had to like go on location, because I was like, I know I can produce something like in my space, but when I'm going to other places, I felt like, well, what if I fuck up, and like, what if they know I'm a fraud and I'm like not good at it or something like that, right? And it's like always these voices in your head like, oh, well, what you're doing isn't good enough, or what you're doing isn't, you know, as good as this person or as good as that. And like, even with the show, Baze, like how you were saying, you know, you hope I don't feel that. I absolutely do. And it's just, the show has been such like this crazy whirlwind, because I was with John on Valentine's Day. We went to the Eagle, and like there is this person who came up to us and was like, well,
yeah,
me.
No, he went up to you, and I just stood back. I was like, yeah, this is happening.
But it was like weird because, and he was like, oh, like I recognize your voice and you have a podcast, and it's just like, that's surreal that's something that happens. And it's like, and people are like, oh, well, you know, yeah, I know you from the show, or I love your work, or the fact that these like publications are saying, oh, I want to put you on this list or something, like that's insane to me. And I just feel like, oh, I'm still this boy from like Pacoima that, you know, happens to have a camera. And I keep thinking of myself as like going to the park and using cardboard boxes as tripods. And it's kind of like when I was 16. So to see that and like where we are now, it's crazy. So I think I'm a lot better at, you know, at knowing that I deserve things because I work my ass off, and I'm not scared to say that I work my ass off, and I absolutely do. But it's just surreal to kind of take it in and just be like, oh, well, you have the, it's not even like you deserve it. It's more like the voice is telling me you don't have the skill set that you think you have. And I have to like kind of combat that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, rant over.
No, that's not dummy. Sorry.
Oh, that was great. René, Jean.
Or Rini.
Okay.
You like to go? Rini's ready.
She's
It's a
hinting
podcast,
for the
you gotta
third time. Yeah. Well, so, I mean, I feel like I've always had imposters, like, since I was a kid, I guess. Because I'm always, like, surrounded by people of a different caliber, I feel like. And yeah, like let's say like even just like at school, and like I relate to like a lot of what y'all were saying, and specifically you, Baze, where I'm just like, the reason I said that, like, because you're not used to being validated, is because like a lot of the experiences that I have, it's just like I either feel like, holy shit, like this is not real, like because I'm not used to being validated, and B, I don't feel like I'm deserving of the validation either. And so just like something like and even when I do get the validation, like it always backfires somehow. Like something like getting into Berkeley was like a big thing for me.
Yeah.
But then I ended up dropping out. So it's just like it always feels like I always have like, I finally have like some type of progress, and then like I'm back 2 steps. And like even with like when we started the podcast, I was just like, I don't know, like I always feel like, oh fuck, like I'm involved and I'm gonna fuck it up somehow, or like there are moments where I'm just like, oh, like I don't really bring anything to the table, like y'all bring your own thing, and like I don't really add to the.
You got stands, sis.
I don't stop. I don't have stands.
She has stands on Twitter.
Yeah, you do,
sure
actually. Yes, you do. They drag me on Twitter constantly.
Bitch, what did you say to Renee? The Renadiators? Do not play.
Renee? No!
No, but like even just like this, Baze, I don't know if you remember this, because I feel like it was intentional on your part, but like during like the last photo shoot that we had, when was it, in May, when you were visiting in August, yeah. Like we were taking photos, and I just feel like I know that like it's kind of a stupid thing to think, but like there's this thing that eats away at me like all the time whenever like I'm doing something potentially good. and like during the photo shoot, like there was this mind while y'all were taking photos of me, like there was something in my mind like, you're ruining the photo shoot. Like this would be such a good photo shoot if you weren't part of it. Or like you're like doing really bad, like you're the like least good looking, and you're like not, and you're so basic, like you're just fucking this whole thing up. And I think, and I like I think when I sat down, Baze, I think maybe you picked up on it, but I was sitting down and I was just kind of like trying not to like let that take over. And I remember you coming over and you're like, Renee, you're doing so well, like you did so good, blah, blah, like all this stuff. And like,
yeah,
just
you seemed like a little insecure that night.
Right. Yeah, and just the fact that you like came up, it's not so much that I believed you, but just the fact that you're like, you were a good enough friend to come up and be like, hey, I need to cheer you on, and like I care about your feelings and I care that you think well about yourself. Like that made me feel better.
But you did look amazing. You were killing it.
Stop. Okay.
When
anyways.
you relax, you look amazing. It's just when you be all stiff and shit, like
Wait.
But yeah, like just I definitely get like, and I think I've said this before, like I feel like a lot of the friends that I happen to have are like people that are very good at whatever they do in their respective fields. So I feel very I have like a bit of an inferiority complex about that.
I feel that, especially in the writing world.
So, but yeah.
John.
Hi.
Jean.
Oh, man.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The elusive.
Jean-Claude Van Kagendaha.
Wait, okay, sorry. Before you go, John, I just saw a tweet that just said from Michael B. Jordan. It's to Lupita, and it says, "Bring them chocolate cakes back. You ready for round 2? Hashtag, you know you want this."
Wait, Michael B. Jordan actually said that?
To Lupita.
No.
On
I
Twitter.
ship it.
Me too.
I still think she could do better, but I ship it for now. He's Mr. Right Now.
I want the footage.
Oh, yes. I think she should. I think she should board the choo choo train and invite Chadwick Boseman and M'Baku.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Invite the cast of the show today. You know, we can watch. Participate.
Somebody was saying that they wanted a Sean Cody version of this, and I was like, good luck finding enough black people in their roster.
Oh no.
Oh my god, that's so...
Anyway, sorry, John.
Sorry, Jean.
Jean. No, like even I was gonna say this imposter syndrome thing is like really, it's a lot, because I think my insecurities are like intersectional. They reach like every part of me. Mm-hmm. Like, so you guys know, I think I've expressed enough how much of an imposter syndrome I've been experiencing recently. So I got a new job at this hospital that's supposed to be like one of the top, hospitals in America, and I'm walking around with all these like people saving lives every day, like with amazing doctors and surgeons and nurses, and I'm walking around like, what am I doing here? How did I get in here? Like, I'm like nowhere near as talented and like smart as the people that are like right next to me. And like I get into my head and I'm like, what? I don't like sometimes it's like hard to process like that I even am driving to work every day, and like when I'm standing there I'm like, what am I doing here? And like talking to these doctors, like I should even be talking to them. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. Yeah. It feels fake sometimes. And so it's a lot for me to handle at work, but I try to focus on like just getting it done, getting my work done. Like, and that they, like you guys have told me before, like they picked you for a reason, like you do belong here. And I even get feedback from like some of my colleagues that like, hey, you did a good job, or that patient really complimented you on your care the other day. And I was like, what? Like that blows my mind sometimes. Like, am I actually doing this? Even though I've been a nurse for like 10 years, I can't believe like people are still, or that I'm actually doing what I'm doing. Sometimes it feels fake. So I feel it in my job, but I also feel it like in spaces where I never thought I would see myself. And this sounds kind of silly, but like sometimes when I go shopping and I walk into a store and I'm like, wow, am I gonna go shopping right now? Like in this store, because like I never, like if you go to like a luxury clothing or a luxury like interior design store, I walk in there and I feel like they can see. I feel like retail spaces specifically that I don't know. It's because like the associates are like supposed to figure out who has money or who doesn't, but that's why I feel like when they give you the up down, when you walk into, it feels like that Pretty Woman moment where she's like, oh, this is too much for you, like you know what I mean. So I feel like Julia Roberts sometimes, when even just going somewhere, just like going shopping or eating out. Like one time me and my family, we went to Malibu to this restaurant that was like looking over the ocean, and like we walk in, it was like a lot of rich white people, and like the parking lot was full of all these nice cars, and we like just like drove up in our Honda, and like I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, and it felt weird. Like I felt like an imposter being in those spaces too. So like professionally and like I guess in class, is that the right word?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I think that all of us shared something, and it actually kind of reminded me of something Curly said earlier, which was like how you said it was minority syndrome. I think you called it, right?
I just think yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my!
And I'm just curious, like, if white people have that feeling, right? Like, I feel like they almost have the opposite. Like, would they walk in and they just feel like they're the shit and like they're really not?
Carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man.
Yeah,
I mean,
like that phrase. Yeah, that phrase is for a reason, and I feel like because you have to be twice as better to get like the same respect, or like twice as better to get half the respect, and it's like, you have to do that all the time, and I'm wondering like if we weren't POC, like would that be something that we're feeling, right? Because it's like, I feel like sometimes people look at us as replaceable, like, oh, because like you're like the token or that kind of thing, and so to prove that you're not, you have to like go above and beyond. Like at my job, I do like 8 times more than any other director like they've had ever, and I still feel like I'm not doing enough, right? And like, but there's been like a white director who's been like a yoga teacher and just straight up said like, I'm not doing that because that's like not my job, and like I don't care. And it's just like there was no drive to like prove themselves, and I'm wondering if that's just something that like it's specific to us, or like where that comes from.
I was thinking. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask a question, and this might just be me, but do you guys ever feel like imposters in communities that are supposed to be your own, but like you still feel like sometimes when I go to like Asian spaces, I'm like, am I Asian enough to be here? And like I don't know why my insecurity gets to me like that.
That's so real.
Or like I even went to a queer event recently, and I was like, look at all these beautiful queers, and I was like, am I queer enough to be here? Like I feel like everyone here is so much queerer than me, and I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, do you guys feel like that about these spaces?
Yeah,
I feel like that in like POC writing spaces. I guess it's not a queer. It's not a queer enough or a black enough thing, but I guess it's just more of like the people that I'm around are like actually have jobs in publishing companies, or they are like they're on their first book is coming out, or their second or third or fourth book is coming out. And so like I'm just like I'm talking to you and sitting with you like you're my peer, but you're also like miles ahead of me. So it feels like it like they're nice, so it feels great in that regard, and it feels good to be able to have friends that are in the industry and that are established already. But it also feels like, damn, like why am I even here?
Well, things, honestly, too, like, things always change. Like, I've been in the game for so long that people who were hella successful, like, a few years ago are, like, nowhere to be found now. So it's not fair to you either to talk about how you're, with your friends who are being published or whatever. And give it a year, and that'll be you. You know what I mean? And you'll be even better, and that won't happen, I think that, for me, it happens a lot when I'm in, a lot of times, Latino spaces. Because we were talking about with Rakeem earlier too, that like minorities, we do it to each other, like, oh, you're not Latino enough, you're not black enough, you're not Asian enough, like we do it to each other because the things that we're used to seeing about each other, like we're not used to seeing a lot of ourselves at all, and sometimes the things that we are used to seeing on television or in the media at all are white depictions of us, And so when you're like, what do you mean you don't know what that means? I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what to tell you. But I do know that, like, my dad came to this country underneath the bus with the luggage, and my mom had to cross a river. I don't know what I need to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry I didn't know who a Vicente Fernandez song versus a Pedro Infante song. Like, I'm sorry I didn't know, you know?
Right.
But
Dang, people come for you like that?
oh, boo.
Oh my god.
Girl, like,
Oh my God.
especially when you're making ethnic content, like, people stay coming for you. Like, you're not Latino enough, or you're still whitewashed. I had a friend who, like, God bless him, I love him. He's a Mexican guy from Inglewood, and he hit me up. He was like, why don't you put me on your show? Like, you need to get some real Latinos. Like, you ain't shit. And I'm like, look, boo, I wasn't fucking coming for you when you were slanging shit on the streets. I didn't come for your hustle, so don't come for my hustle. Like, I'm like, you are more than welcome to come on the show anytime. Like, if you think that you're more real than me, you're more than welcome. And I was like, and furthermore, I was like, no one's checking for you, boo. Like, clearly I'm doing something right. No one's coming for you. So it's all these things. Like, I know
This is a friend?
It's a friend, yeah.
I live.
But you know, it's all these things that we do to each other. And I always just imagine white people talking to each other and being like, you're not white enough. Like, you didn't make that. You know, like, I don't think they do that to one another. Also, the voice I chose for white people, I feel like we all choose the same voice. But it's unfair, and I think that's so real that we do feel like imposter syndrome with our own communities, and it's unfair and it sucks.
Yeah.
I just feel like Curly's like the Iyanla Van Zant of this.
Another Virgo sidebar.
Is she really? She would
Yes.
be. Like, I'm just literally sitting here just shaking. Like, if you peek out the door, I'm literally just sitting here like, wow.
I'm learning
Yeah.
so much.
I love that. Yeah,
was
it's unfortunate. I think somebody else was talking about imposter syndrome as far, I forgot who it was, but somebody said like that they compare themselves to other people, and I think that's where we fail too. Like, that's where we need to not, you know. I think our at the end of the day, guys, honestly, like, it's our own voices that are getting the best of us. Like, I like to do this thing, and I told Rakeem this one time, where like I sit still and I sit there and I tell myself, it's just you in here. And all the different voices, all the imaginings that I have of people criticizing me or talking shit or what if and what if, I'm like, you made all that shit up in your head. It's literally just you in here. And it, like, I immediately picture like a white room, like just this empty room, and I'm just there by myself, and everything is just quiet, and I'm like, okay, now get to fucking work.
Girl, that's solitary confinement. You might want to picture it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like very like Matrix-y, where they're like in that empty room, and they're like, what file? And all these like like Morpheus is like making all these shelves appear with like, you know.
Is that your Morpheus voice? Can you do it again?
It sounded like him, huh? For a second, huh?
A little bit. I was like, oh, is Lawrence Fishburne here? Like, Daddy? What?
Yeah.
Wow. I guess, okay, so does anyone have any ending comments or questions, or?
I mean, I guess be aware that you're your own worst enemy, as Curly said. And,
It's true.
And try to go from there. You know what I did? And I felt actually really good. So people are always talking about talking to yourself in the mirror. And I did that the other day. I actually was in the mirror for like a good 30 minutes. I dragged the fuck out of myself. I gave myself a couple compliments, and I felt refreshed. I felt like I had just gotten out of a therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Do it naked too.
I did actually.
Good. Yeah, do it naked.
Oh.
Do it naked. That's the best thing. You look at yourselves in different parts of it, and like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty hot. Like, if you watch yourself masturbate, have you guys ever watched yourself masturbate?
Oh, well, I don't do that.
It's all about self-love. That goes back to self-love. Silence the voices, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I've watched myself. I've
in conclusion, watch yourself masturbate.
Yes, love yourself.
That's the best form of
How do you get
self-care.
over imposter syndrome? Watch yourself masturbate.
No, but
I mean,
but yeah, and we do. I really agree with you, Curly. We really need to stop. Like, I feel like, well, let me just speak for the Latinx community, but I feel like it is incredibly intense. Like, you have to be on this constant like upward progress thing of like to prove your Latinidad and to like prove like that you're actually part of this community, and you need to be very like experience in this corner, but also in this corner, and like in this and this and this. And if you miss one of these corners, then actually you're not a Latino person.
Yeah.
And like we need to stop doing that to each other.
It's true. I'm kind of over it, to be honest. Like I'm like, I am who I am.
For sure.
It's like I can't prove anything to you guys, and it's super sticky. I'm super happy to be where I'm at and with the voices that we have now, and I'm like, you do you, boo. Like focus on you. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I want to say is like we really need to stop doing this to each other, because I've totally been guilty of it too. So like let's just not.
Well, you know what? You know what I do get happy when people say Latino, when other Latinos say Latino. That's when I'm like,
Latino?
She's not Latino enough. Like if you don't say it right.
Latino.
Like if you're not Latino and you're like, oh, Latino, it's fine. But if you're Latino, like you gotta like at least try a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess with that, we're gonna in the discourse, and then we'll do Mail of Color, and then okay. Right. So we'll see you on the next section. All right.
Hello, everybody. Hello, we're back, and today we're going to be doing an ASMR Mail of Color.
Oh.
And next we're gonna do ASMR dick sucking, choking on the dick. Do you like that, Daddy? Does that feel good?
Now we're gonna ASMR fleet, okay?
Oh god. Okay.
Ew. I can smell it already.
That's still too far.
Why can't I do
You
it?
had a good thing going, and that.
Why? Why do I?
Go ahead and do it, John. Go ahead.
Just go do it.
Let's all grab our bottles and get your water. Choose whatever temperature you'd like. You know, it's your anus. And then, okay, let's squeeze the bottle. There you go, squeeze it. And then get all that clear water, okay? Then,
Whisper a little louder.
oh, okay. Then you gotta put the tip in first. And then squeeze all that water in. Yep. Feel refreshed. Just let it take over. And then squeeze out. And then check your water. Because if it ain't clear, you gotta keep going. That's all I got. I can't do it.
Oh god. Okay.
Oh my God, Curly, I'm so
no,
sorry.
it's totally good.
They're like, I'm never coming on the show ever again.
It's like when do you, Frankie's like, when are you leaving my house? Like,
Love it.
oh my God. Anyway, so this section is Mail of Color, and we're going to read a letter.
Yes. So, this person sent us a honey roast, which we are eternally thankful for, and we appreciate. But we're gonna read the messy part of the email. So they said, a messy story. Okay, so I'm caught in a love triangle, which sounds so dramatic, but it's such a mess. Well, sorry, that doesn't contradict that. I was just like, that's pretty in line
When
with
you
things.
try to be a bitch and it backfires.
Anyway, it's me and two white boys. Whoops. Basically, they have the all caps. Whoops. Basically, my friend had confessed that he had a crush on me that I was completely oblivious to, and I told him that I wasn't ready for a relationship, but I was totally open to dating him in the future when I'm independent. And this year, I developed a really sad crush on this one white boy, Hoomps, is 1 year older than me and is like low-key a druggie, but you didn't hear that from me. Eye emoji. Anyways,
Oh my God.
so...
That was petty. You didn't need to do that.
Well, he did. There was an eye emoji there. They put an eye emoji.
That's petty.
Anyways, so we've been flirting with each other, and he makes me melt. But it's probably because he's the only cute one in class, and he's gay. So my monkey brain is all over the idea of dating him. But apparently, he likes the friend that likes me. So what the fuck? That was all in caps. I can't trust white boys with my feelings anymore. Crying emoji. I hope you like my story time. Please like, share, and subscribe for more messy gay stories. So, this person did not ask for advice. What
They were telling us.
They were telling us. They were like, I'm dating not one white, but two.
But the thing is, I don't think he's dating either of them.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
I think you kind of played yourself, to be honest with you.
Look, you can always count on a white to find another white. Just saying.
When he said that he told the one white boy that he wanted to date him at a time and he was more independent, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's trash.
Well, he said he
no
wanted to
offense.
date him when he was more independent. They said that they wanted to date the person when they were more independent.
That's garbage. It is. Just say you don't want to date them, because the whole like, oh my God, like you have to set stuff, like you have to keep stuff straight and not in the future. Just say I don't want to date stuff now. I've had this happen to me and I hate that. Sorry. But low key, I mean, the story was great, but just don't tell the other guy that. So what's going to end up happening now is like, they're going to fuck. Maybe let them fuck, get in an open relationship, and then be the third, right?
Or do
like,
a threesome.
Wow.
yeah, you have to get in where you fit in. But if they ask you to do race play, then leave.
Oh.
Yeah. That is always the answer to that.
Don't kink shame them. What if they really want to do race play? I'm just kidding.
John,
I'm kidding.
I am not doing this.
I'm kidding.
Okay, anyway, let me read one last quick one, and then we're gonna do a honey roast for our guest. So this is a quick one. They say, "Hi cuties, I love your show so much. I've been listening since the beginning, and it's one of the only podcasts I listen to right away when it comes out every week. Yay!
Oh,
I
thank
am
you.
a maybe cis gay man with a question for John. How did you first come to define your gender identity? I have no real attachment or identification with masculinity or the concept of maleness, but at the same time, I don't feel a strong attachment or identification with femininity, and I'm not bothered by he, his, him pronouns. I feel like I might be gender nonconforming or genderqueer or non-binary, but I'm not sure, and I'm very overwhelmed. My brother is an out trans man, so I have no doubt my family and friends would understand. It's mostly about my own inner confusion. Any tips to help me figure this out? Thanks, Stevie."
Wow.
No pressure.
Yeah, right. This is a new journey for me, and I'm still figuring it out. But I think when I first found the language is when I met someone who identified as non-binary and told me their pronouns are they them, and I think when that first happened to me, I was just very like, wow, I didn't know that was an option, because they were describing how I felt. And then also, they were kind of inspiring me because they didn't feel like, and I think I had discussed this before about like, what does non-binary or what does trans enough look like? And so the few folks that I've met who identified certain ways, I feel like they were just very confident and they didn't question who they were. And so when I found that, I identified with it as well. And I speaking of imposter syndrome, this is a really good related topic. I've always felt like an imposter as a male, if that makes sense. Like whenever I'm in male spaces or like in the locker room or just in the men's restroom, I just feel like I didn't belong there. But also, I'm not a woman, so I think that's what helped me like put this together, was that it's okay because you don't have to be either. If that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was my experience. And so when I first met people, like, because I thought I was the only one who felt like that, and I was like, I guess I'm cis male because that's my only option. But then when I found out like people actually can identify this, and when people are allowed to be who they are, it kind of allowed me to be myself too. So I think, yeah. So there's that.
John and Curly with these. Look, you guys gave so many Instagram quotes today. Like I can see it. Like I cannot wait to see these quotes on like that little scribbly writing that they do, and like with like.
I have Instagram captions to last me for
and no visco
literally
pen filter.
I woke up like this as shook.
Wow. Okay. Bye.
Oh no. Goodbye. Okay, so we're gonna do. Okay, so Curly, we're gonna do a honey roast, which is pretty much we're gonna go around and we're gonna say one positive thing about you, and so yeah, so everyone's going to go do that. So I'll go last, so y'all can go first.
Oh, I'm so nervous, guys.
Oh no, it's always good. They're always good. They're always good.
Curly is prolific. Does that make sense? I really appreciate everything that was said today by Curly, and so I want to honey roast. I want to emphasize the fact that it really made me like tilt my head and go, huh, and like kind of. I felt like I think I joked about it earlier, like how much do I owe you? Because I felt like I've been talking to someone who I feel like I needed to talk to. I haven't.
That is
like knows. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Prolific, such a strong word. Thank you.
I just really look out for you as another Latino. And yeah, just like everything that you're doing, I really appreciate. And I just always thought you were like, this was even like you and this happens to me a lot. You probably don't even remember me, but like even like starting like 10 years ago when I would see you around, I just always thought you were like an iconoclast, and I really appreciate everything that you do. And
wow,
oh my God, wow,
yes,
and yeah, and
iconoclast.
I just really look up to you.
Thank you so much. Ugh, you guys, this feels beautiful.
We're only like halfway there.
I know, but this feels like
you still got the blacks.
You still have the niggers left.
Oh my God, you guys. This is so nice. I'm so happy this is recorded so I can just hear it all the time. Thank you.
So I would say when I think of you, I think resilient. Just because, for you to be somebody who like, I feel like a lot of people, especially like in big cities like LA and New York, like there's like shame in like doing certain jobs, and for you to like have gone from working with David LaChapelle and Jeremy Scott and then to like go and work in the kitchen at Buzzfeed, and then to not only like do that, but then to like make it your own thing and then get recognized for that, like that to me says that you're somebody who is not really about like humbling themselves to get to where they need to get to. And I think that is the definition of resilient. And also I just really enjoyed the fuck out of your videos. Like Rakeem sent us like all your YouTube videos. Like this is every video on YouTube that has Curly in it. Like there's a playlist. And I just was cracking up as I was watching. I told you about the one where you and is it Cadrell?
Gadiel. Yes, Gadiel. That's my brother.
Where y'all switch clothes and like when you guys are doing the whisper challenge.
Yes.
And it just, I don't know, you're just really engaging. And I appreciate the aha moment, the Oprah moment you gave us today with that truth
bomb.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to say that I think that you are like since we're using like
$10 words.
Yeah, I'm gonna write these down. Prolific, iconoclast, resilient. Like yes.
Oh my God.
Show-stopping,
I have to come up with
groundbreaking,
one
not
too.
afraid to reference.
Okay, I think you. No,
not afraid.
Not afraid.
Never been in a blender.
I think I'll use my $10 word. I think you are a masterclass in being yourself. I think that you and being proud of who you are and where you come from, and not being afraid to be yourself when other people may feel or tell you otherwise. And I look up to you when it comes to work ethic, and like I think like you're like what I'm working to be. And so I'm very no, it is. I told you guys, like I told you I've watched your videos, like I've known who you were. And I'm really I'm really happy and shocked that like we get to be friends and we get to do this. And just hearing your journey and how hard you work and seeing the amount of content that you guys put out and the how frequent it is and how you guys always are excellent in what you do, it's really inspiring to me. So I just want to say thank you so much for being an inspiration to me. And then also like style wise too, like even coming here, I was like, I have to like look nice because I'm not about to come up here with like sweats and a t-shirt when I normally record in. So
Oh my God, it's so funny. I'm in slacks and like I feel you.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You look great. Like he's literally wearing like a plaid t-shirt and like these really like nice high-waisted slacks. It's like, it's nothing. I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
We love a high waist at podcast.
We sure do.
Y'all, well, I appreciate your words so much. Like it really means so much to me to be celebrated by you guys, a beautiful group of people, and I really appreciate your words. I feel like that was like a bukkake of compliments, so thank you.
Oh my God, yes!
A bukkake of compliments. Wow.
Thank you.
Should that be our title?
Put that in the episode title? Like, can we do that? I think we could put bukkake in the episode title.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, that might be pushing it.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, let me end it by with the Lady Gaga gif. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique. I just want to say that because I never remember all the words that she uses, but
you didn't miss you, but it's the thought that counts.
Thanks, y'all. Also, before we end, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for being who you guys are, for being voices for so many of our people in our community, and thank you again for having me. I'm so happy. I was like, I want to be on. So thank you for saying yes, and thank you for having me.
We just had a versatile
honey roast. So wait, so where can people find you and all that social media stuff?
So I'm on Buzzfeed's Berolike. That's PEROLIKE. Berolike. I have my own channel on YouTube. It's Curly Velasquez. Curly like curly hair, Velasquez. My Instagram is The Curly V Show. V is in Victor. And my Twitter is at Curly VEE. If you just say,
oh, I didn't know you had Twitter.
It's mostly just me. You can. It's me being silly. But yeah, I just Google Curly Velasquez and everything will type up. And yeah, thank you guys.
All right, and we'll put all that stuff in the episode links in the episode description too. So so that'll conclude this week's episode of Podcast of Color. You guys can find us always on Twitter at Trash of Color. If you have a honey roast or you want to send in questions, send that to a messy story. If you want to send updates about your white threesome, send that to podcastofcolor@gmail.com. You can find us everywhere else at Podcast of Color. And again, we are so sorry about last week.
Yeah.
There were some technical issues, but
we all had internet issues, like all of us.
Everyone, like the world did not want last week's episode to come out. And before we go, I just want to say really thank you really quickly to a few publications. I want to say thank you to the Daddy Issues Party for having me shoot Dexter, I believe it's Dexter Mayfield for your issue, and he's in the center spread, and that's really great. Thank you to the Portland Mercury for putting me on the cover of your magazine this month, or putting my photo on the cover of your magazine this month. And then I want to say thank you to Into for putting me on your list of 23 crushable bays, and then or crushable queer people of 2018. And then I also want to say thank you to Out Magazine for putting me on your list of 100 bachelors. This week has been like really insane for me, and it's really crazy, and I'm just really grateful for all of that. So thank you. I guess I'm an influencer now because like that's what they call me. So I'm gonna reclaim that. I'm gonna reclaiming my slur. Influencer. So yeah. So
give
thank
her
you so much.
Endorsements.
Yeah, like if you want to send me things, I'm okay with that too. So yeah.
Rakeem's Amazon wish list.
Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.
And whenever you say that, Base, I don't know if you're being serious or not. Like I always feel like you're being.
I'm joking, but like if you want to like and subscribe, like I'm not gonna be mad about it. Our videos are on YouTube, so.
All right, so with that, we will see y'all next week. And again, thank you to Curly. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
gentlemen. Bye, y'all.
Such a joy.
Bye.
Bye.